What's up guys, this is Merc Music and welcome to my setup video. Finally, after all of these years and after all of this time, I'm finally doing an updated setup video, which is kind of genius because I'm going to be moving out of here and my setup won't be the same ever again.
It's a great idea.
But for real, the whole reason why I'm making a setup video as the last video I record in this house is because, well, it's really more of just a reflection of what I've been using over all of these years to make all of these YouTube videos. But there are two things I want to point out before I show you guys like all this stuff. First off, thank you for coming back day after day to watch my videos. Whether you just subscribed yesterday or you've been subscribed for years, thank you. This all kind of ties into my second point, which is time. It truly has taken a long time to gather and accrue all of this gear. And even longer than that to actually be able to move out. In a world of instant gratification, it can be easy to look at what someone else has and think that it just kind of appeared there overnight. Some of you guys have been watching me for years, but you haven't seen all of this stuff, and now it's just gonna kind of appear. I have pretty much saved all of the money I've made ever since I started doing YouTube, and I've only really been spending that money on things that I found to be practical or useful. But let's be honest, not everybody's perfect. But whether it's a new computer for editing or if it's AA batteries, these are things that I find to be useful in everyday situations, and they make up a majority of the purchases that I actually make. Not supply drops. But the kinds of people that think that it's so off base, it's so stupid.
This guy's spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on supply drops, whoa!
As far as it goes for advice with money, I'm still not gonna be the perfect person to reference to, but to anyone who might be watching this, whether you're a kid or an adult, save your money. Simple but effective advice for the long term. But without further ado, let me show you guys the ins and outs of everything that I've been using to build my channel and to make YouTube videos for the last 8 years.
Let's go.
I think the best way to do this is to divide this setup into 3 sections: the OG or editing setup, the recording setup, and the music/experimental setup. Let's start with the OG setup. What you're seeing here is really where I spend the majority of my time working. That's because doing YouTube, at least for me, is not solely about playing video games for a living. It's about video editing. I might record a game for roughly an hour or so, but I'll end up spending 3 to 8 times that amount of time editing the video afterwards, which is why my turnaround for pumping out videos can sometimes be a little slow. Anyway, let's talk about the gear. Starting from the top, I've got a lot of different goofy props that you guys have seen in a ton of different videos before. Here's my iPad. There's really not a great purpose for this. I have used it in some videos, but I mean, it's an iPad. You'll actually see this spread out around all of my desks. I like to keep a lot of notepads and sticky notes around to write things down and stay organized. It's a big part of time management, staying organized, and being efficient on YouTube. Now, this is the mic that I mainly record with. It's a Blue Spark. I highly recommend it. However, the interface I use is called the Blue Icicle, and I can't really recommend it as much. It's one of the most bare-bone XLR interfaces you'll see for an XLR microphone, and it gets the job done, but you're not gonna have a lot of flexibility. I would recommend it for someone who's just getting into using an XLR mic, but interface-wise, you can do a lot better. Strictly for the sake of editing and doing graphics work, I like to actually use the default Mac keyboard and trackpad, but I also like to use this Razer Death Adder mouse and the Razer Goliath soft mouse pad. It's actually really nice, and setting up binds for those extra buttons actually really helps with editing. Nothing too fancy over here. We've got some external drives, some of which are SSD, some of which are just standard, and I use that to move content or backup videos so that way I have the raw files. An assortment of Xbox 360 and other types of games, because why not?
What I hope to look like when I turn 70.
I still got the old Xbox 360, Turtle Beach XP400 headset, and a standard controller just lying around in the event that I actually want to go back and play some old games, even though I really don't play on it too much anymore. I've still got it hooked up though.
Man, what the fuck was I doing when I was recording this?
Like, I'm playing with a clothespin, bro. I think I throw it away?
Is he gonna throw it away? Is he gonna throw the clothespin away? Or is he gonna keep it there? Find out on next...
I threw it away. But there's a reason why I call this the editing setup. It's because this is where I plant my ass for hours every single day, and I spend it using this program called Final Cut Pro. No more guessing games. I'm not still using iMovie, and I don't use Sony Vegas or Premiere or After Effects. Not that there's anything wrong with any of those programs. I'm just using Final Cut Pro. But with that being said, I cannot say enough good things about Final Cut Pro in terms of the features, the streamline, the optimization, the performance. This thing is a tank of a program. I've only really found 2 setbacks. The first one is occasional crashing. I've noticed if I have projects that have a lot of keyframing or if they're too long, sometimes it will crash. Not really a big deal. Final Cut auto-saves everything, so you generally don't lose any of your progress, which is nice. And the second thing is really just a feature request. I wish that Apple would have first-party support for a motion track plugin. There are some alternatives out there, but if they had this kind of support for motion tracking, it would just make the program that much better.
So the next time you go to eat an apple, don't eat it. Ask it if they can add motion tracking to Final Cut.
As far as it goes for recording webcam footage on Mac, I like to use QuickTime. It's just pretty easy. I've used a lot of webcams in the past. This is the C930E. I don't really use it too often anymore. I actually find myself using this new one called the Brio, which I found actually has less functionality than advertised on Mac. It actually has more features on Windows, but it gets the job done for what I need it to do. I've also got this Asus monitor. It's 1080p, does 144 Hz, but I use it for Xbox 360, so it's not really a big deal.
But yeah, we're gonna wave goodbye to the editing setup and move over to the recording setup. I hate myself. Look at that face. Oh god, don't you just want to fucking slap it? Oh my...
But yeah, here's my bed. I sleep with 3 pillows because I sleep in the optimal sleeping position. If you don't,
You need some extra pillows.
but yeah, let's take a look at the recording setup. Starting with this gorgeous LG 34-inch curved monitor. Now, this is not the gaming one that does 144 hertz, but it's plugged into a Mac. Mac OS currently caps at 60 anyway, so it's not really a huge deal. It gets the job done and then some. But since this is typically where I edit Nerd Plays' videos and there's not a lot of editing, I don't really have a huge benefit from the extended timeline. Oddly enough, I actually use a Blue Yeti to talk to my buddies on PS4, and it's plugged in here. As you can see, I've got the PS4 Pro and I also have the Xbox One Elite. I'm mostly playing on PS4 nowadays, but I still have my Xbox One because, well,
It has Roblox.
And I love Roblox.
this thing right here is my trash can. Just kidding, it's a Mac Pro. It's the 12-core edition. Look at how, ooh. Oh, that was nice. In hindsight, I would have gotten one with less cores but a higher clock speed, but it just can't render videos as fast as the iMacs can. And I'm really hoping that Apple works on a much better desktop Mac computer at some point. Now, over here at this recording setup, I'm typically keeping track of quad feeds on a notepad. It just makes things a lot easier. But this is the really cool stuff. I'm just gonna move my MacBook Pro out of the way because even though I can use it to edit videos if I'm traveling or going somewhere, I don't really find myself using it. It just kind of gets in the way of my mouse. Again, I'm rocking the Razer Death Adder sitting on top of a Razer Goliath soft mousepad. I'm also using the Razer Death Stalker as a keyboard. It honestly doesn't feel as responsive or doesn't give as much feedback as other keyboards, but it makes a lot less noise, so try to ignore this mess of webcams. I'm really just using the Logitech Brio currently for doing webcam stuff. Now, this is the monitor that I typically game on. This is a BenQ. It does 1080p 144 hertz and it has great quality. But yeah, behind all of this nerdy stuff, I've got some guitars hanging on the wall that really need some maintenance. I've been pretty bad about that recently. If you haven't seen it already, I made a video earlier this year called My Rare Guitar Collection, which will showcase all of the guitars that I have so far. But that's pretty much it for the recording setup. Let's move over to the disaster. How dare you make a gaming setup video and not talk about your gaming PC, you absolute idiot.
So this is my PC. It's pretty cool. It's a Corsair 900D case.
I refuse to continue using that voice, but yeah, powered it on and you can see some LEDs and stuff. It's fully controllable, all that stuff.
Because that's the important part of the PC.
Honestly, I bought this thing years ago. I don't remember the exact specs, just know that it's a quad-core i7, probably in the 4.5 gigahertz range of clock speed. For graphics, it has a 3-way SLI using 24,000 NVIDIA GTX 980 Ti's. Just kidding, it's 3 duds, 3-way SLI. But honestly, the rest of the specs don't really mean much to me because I'm going to be upgrading my PC anyway. I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of this PC out of all the years, and I'm not going to get rid of it. If anything, I might end up using it to stream. So yeah, let's turn it off. So yeah, this is pretty much the music/experimental setup. These are some amazing headphones that I use when gaming. They're Sennheiser HD598s, and this is a very basic kind of like Sennheiser gaming headset that I got for my PC. It's nothing too crazy, but I'll look up the exact name so you guys can find it. You guys noticing a common theme? Razer Death Adder, Razer Goliath soft mousepad, but this is a pretty cool one. This is something different. So for some reason, my wireless keyboard will not hook up to the computer, which is just kind of annoying. But I got this keyboard a long time ago so I could quickly learn the shortcuts in Final Cut. But to be truthful, it didn't really help out with the learning process of Final Cut all that much. Now, the reason why this is called the experimental setup is because I'm not huge on constantly updating my devices and my programs. I always get worried that updates will cause problems. So this computer is dedicated to having an updated version of Mac OS and Final Cut. And even though there's some great performance enhancements, I'm not a huge fan of the new version of Final Cut. This is the Slouch for Brayden song that I never finished.
And I don't know if I'm gonna finish it.
But if you look down here, this is where I have my amp. This is a Roland Cube 40 XL. Now, this is actually an older version of the amp, but it's very versatile. It's a solid state, so it's not gonna sound as warm as a tube amp, but it's gotten the job done over all these years. And I'm a big fan of this pedal. This is a Digitech whammy pedal. You can have an absolute blast messing with different pitches. I also have a Bad Horsey wah that I haven't used in quite some time, just sitting over there. And I occasionally use this Bose soundbar for playing along with different songs. I've got the Gem 777 30th anniversary just kind of sitting here. This is what I'm usually playing because, well,
it's quite a jam.
Good joke.
this is what I call the nightmare chair. I don't actually sit on it. It just gathers close. It holds my acoustic guitar and my Jimi Hendrix vintage 1967 Fender Stratocaster. I put this in my armpit to make it smell better. And even though they're discontinued now, I've got this old Crate amp. I haven't really used it for too many videos, but it's pretty cool. But yeah, these 3 different sections are all part of the process that has allowed me to make YouTube videos for the last 8 years or so. I'm really looking forward to the potential of the new place that I'm going to be moving into. I'll have a lot more room to expand, and there's a lot of upgrades that I've been waiting to do for quite some time now. But yeah, this setup is absolutely more than acceptable, and it will definitely get the job done. And honestly, it's going to feel really weird abandoning this setup and trying to create something new. But at the same time, it's going to offer so many more benefits and improvements, and I can't wait to get started on it. Well, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my setup video. It's going to be the last video that I record in this house for quite some time, I'm pretty sure. I have pretty much exclusively made every single YouTube video over all of these years in this room, and that's now going to stop. I'm moving to Antarctica to pursue my career of becoming a dolphin. And yeah, I'm gonna die because dolphins won't survive in that climate. But it was a good run, I guess. No, but for real, this is what I've been using over all of these years to make these videos possible. And it could possibly take me weeks, months, and maybe even years to actually get a complete setup at this new place. But hopefully it won't take me years to get a new setup video out. How long has it actually been? But hopefully next time it won't take me 5 years to make an updated setup video. But again, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this little setup video. If you guys did it and you're looking forward to new videos and making new memories in a new place, make sure to drop a like, and I'll see you guys later.